On this trip, I'm heading to the lakes of western PA to chase after my second favorite freshwater fish. Let's see if I have enough fishing prowess to put enough bluegill in the boat for some good old fish tacos. Come along for the ride. Alright, now it's time to get everything set up. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone's having a lovely day. I asked, you guys answered, and we're out here today catching, or trying to catch, bluegill, crappie, and really whatever bites our line, right? But those are our two targeted species. Now, I'm on a lake here in Pennsylvania, and this specific lake has some interesting regulations around bluegill and crappie. It's technically considered a trophy crappie lake. Essentially, you can only keep crappie that are above 9 inches and bluegill that are above 7 inches. So I went out to Sports' warehouse today to buy some trophy crappie fishing gear. First things first, butter worms. I got these just because I think that these are gonna be kind of like my last case scenario. If nothing else is working, these are gonna do the trick pretty well. Bought some hooks to go along with that. These are size 8 with a long shaft. Spinner, another spinner but white. Lead weights, Mr. Crappie jigs, more Mr. Crappie jigs, 4-pound test line, a little miniature Rapala, and bobbers. Now, I think it should be enough options to at least get a couple in the boat, but I wanted to make sure that I had a diverse group of stuff so that if things weren't going as planned, I can always switch it up and try something else. Now I have my ruler. Just as a reference, 9 inches is that long. That's a pretty damn big crappie. And 7 inches, that's a pretty damn big, it's a damn big bluegill. I'm hoping I catch something of that size. Holy crap. First things first, this line on this reel is so old, so I'm gonna take it all off and I'm gonna re-spool here. Trick whenever you're wrapping, keep your fingers expanded because you're inevitably going to pinch them together the more you wrap. So if you keep them extended, you're not going to crush your hands. I literally have like this tool that is specifically made for re-spooling lines, but I always forget it. There you have it. Nothing much nicer than a freshly spooled rod. Man, it is freaking hot. I'm gonna move over here in the shade a little bit. Might as well start with the most expensive thing I got. $10 for this little eensy-weensy olive green muddler. That's what it says, olive green muddler from Rapala. So might as well start with the most expensive thing so I could lose it as quickly as possible. Just kidding, hopefully that doesn't happen, but it might. The Pennsylvania Game Commission, they do fish surveys for all of these lakes, and they'll give you reports every few years or so. They'll do them, and they'll give you these reports on how big the fish, how many fish they caught of each species, how big the fish are of each species, like an average range, how many you should plan on catching per hour of a certain size. So like, for example, this lake, because it has the trophy restriction on, they specify you could probably expect to catch 0.25 crappie above 9 inches every hour. So a quarter of a crappie that's over 9 inches every hour is what's expected. We'll see how accurate their assessment is. There you have it. Look at that little thing. That's pretty cool looking. A quick cast. Oh, heck yeah. That'll catch some fish right there. Now we're ready to go. Let's catch some fish. This mud is sticky. It sticks right on the bottom of your shoes. Good enough. All right. Getting lots of signals down below me already. I'm gonna keep on going until I find a nice like fallen down tree or something like that. That's what I'm aiming for right now. Just try and hit all the fallen trees that I can find. All right, this looks like a good spot right here. I'm gonna pull up, drop anchor. Now the issue with this wind is gonna blow me, so I'm gonna have to drop anchor every time I switch spots. That's all right though. Definitely see some weeds down there. I might be switching early, we'll see. Yeah, this is just gonna be a little bit tough to work this right now. I'll save this one for later. I just don't wanna lose it. I mean, I literally just got it. I'd rather use something nice and cheap. There you go. Now you might be wondering why I'm not wearing sunglasses, and I'm wondering the same thing right now. But the reason is because my dog, Bean, freaking chewed my really nice ones up. So I had to order some new ones, ended up ordering it into the wrong address, so I gotta go get them, and it was just a whole situation. So now I'm gonna blind myself all day by trying to look at the water. You definitely take sunglasses for granted, and you don't realize how much you wear them until you don't have a pair of sunglasses to wear. You're like, man, this sucks. All right, I'm seeing a ton of little tiny bluegills right over here, so I'm gonna switch up a little bit, put on something that moves. See if I can hook into one here. There we go. Much like a popular fishing show, you're not going to see all the times I tangled my line, got caught in trees, or missed fish. This isn't because I've elected to cut it out, it's because all of that footage was lost. This trip was filled with struggles, but it was all worth it towards the end. Oh. Right as soon as it hit the water, let's go. We got one, finally. I don't know if it's gonna be big enough. Remember, 7 inches. That's a 7.5, baby. Right? I'm measuring that right. 7.5, let's go. We finally got one. Perfect. Right as soon as it hit the water, it smacked it. All right, maybe things are turning around. Got another one. Oh yeah, that's a nice one. Boom. That's a 7-incher for sure. Yeah, that's 8. That's 8 inches right there. Now we at least have somewhat of a meal. You know, it's really all a matter of perspective. You know, I'm getting super excited about these 7-8 inch little bluegill whenever there's guys that you know, they go out deep sea fishing and they're catching massive tuna and stuff like that, you know, or you're spearing giant, yeah, whatever it is that you're fishing for. People are going after huge things, 20-inch trout, 20-inch smallmouth. I am perfectly content, and this might just make me crazy, perfectly content with sitting here and pulling in 2 little 7 or 8 inch bluegill. Because you want to know why? It's because I'm not a very good fisherman, and anything that I can get my hands on to eat is good enough for me. Right as soon as it hit the water, I knew this one was gonna catch one because like it was basically just still alive. Not bad, not bad, not bad. And we still got our bait. So it seems like these bluegill really like the fresh ones, the ones that are like still kind of kicking, which makes sense. I don't know if this one's gonna be long enough. Oh yeah, just in there, right at 7. That's 3. Try and get one more. Get one more and we can head back home. This clutch that we still got this one because it's still alive. There we go. This one looks like a small one. It's a little tiny one. All right, one more of size, I should say. Here we go. This one feels a little bit better. I don't think that one's 7 inches. Well, don't matter if he was 7 inches or not. I think he was close. He was like right on the edge. Can't leave a hot hole. Got another one. That was a little tiny guy too. Oh, he swallowed that though. He swallowed that pretty good. That wasn't too bad. This worm's taking a beating, but it's held on. I don't know how many more bites it can take though. This one looks like a decent one. This one might be 7. Oh yeah, and he swallowed it too. So he's 7. Oh yeah, he's 8. There you have it. It's the last one. Now the limit for sunfish in this specific lake is 10, but 4 is plenty. I'm looking for 1 meal for Sammy and myself, and I'm gonna make something nice. So I'm gonna pull up anchor and I'm gonna head back. Overall, slow day at first, but exciting stuff at the end. It's always good whenever you like stick with it for a long time, and eventually things start working out in your favor and you start catching fish. That's always a great feeling. I'm pretty sure there's a beaver in here that was just barking at me, yelling at me to get away. Get away, it's my lodge. Fishing portion is done. Now it's time to head back home, fillet them up, cook them up, and I'm thinking some fish tacos on the Blackstone. I think that sounds really, really good. So I think that's what we're gonna make. Maybe a little bit unorthodox way of cooking it, but I just kind of had the idea and went with it. So this is kind of like a seared bluegill taco. I put onions on it, tomato, parsley flakes, salt, pepper, garlic powder, on a tortilla, and then a little bit of lime juice, and give it a try. It's delicious, delicious. Really trying to get the flavor of the fish. This is not the dish for you. And also, if you're scared of scales, also not the dish for you, or bones for that matter. Overall, it's a great dish, and it's really easy to make, like I was saying. Now, I'll tell you what, if you're scared to work for your food too, this is not the dish for you either, because the amount of work that it takes to go out there, catch the fish, bring them back, clean them, pick away all the meat, the calories versus effort spent, not great. But hey, I mean, it still tastes good. And it's always nice to get outside and spend the time to harvest your own food, bring it back home, cook it up. It's just, I love the process of it, and I think it's so much fun. And I implore you guys, please go out and do it for yourself. It's super easy, very accessible. Anyone can go out to any lake, any river, and catch bluegill, bring them back, cook them up, and they're gonna turn out great every time, I promise. If you wanna see more videos like this, be sure to check out the YouTube channel. We post videos like this every Thursday, and then the following Tuesday, we'll talk about our adventures, our experiences. So be sure to subscribe, be sure to check it out, and make sure to keep it wild.